What's going on, everyone? This is James with DadLore343, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite weapons, the Polish Beryl. Let's get into it. So basically, just for posterity, no bullets in the mag, we are completely cold. So a little bit of history behind this gun. Essentially, during communist times, whenever, I guess, obviously 1974, the Russians adopted the AK-74. I guess a little bit after that, they started putting them into use. But, and they wanted all of their satellite countries to also run 5.45 weapons, just because that's the smart thing to do for ammunition commonality between alliance countries. So they were forcing all their satellite states to try to adopt it. You know, they had, like, Bulgaria adopted it. I believe Ukraine adopted a 74. Romania had a version of the 74. And then Poland made their version, which was the Tatnal, but they kind of drug their feet on it. I want to say the Tatnal, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me in the comments, was made in 1988, or that's when they finally pushed it out, was 1988. And as you guys may know, communism fell in 1990. So basically, they had to, after the Tatnal was made, I'll try to link a picture of the Tatnal above so everybody can see what it looks like. But basically, shortly after that weapon was in 5.45, they had to, the Iron Curtain fell, communism was no more in Poland, and they had to decide what they wanted to do. So Poland, being the amazing country that they are, they decided that they wanted to join NATO. And to join NATO, they had to have something in 5.56, the Lord's caliber. So basically, they started reworking. They had their Tatnal design, however you say it, and they started reworking that into the Beryl. I want to say, I'm going to try to link a picture of the Beryl version 1, version 2. Basically, I'm thinking of what's on the Wikipedia page, those versions of the Beryl. This is basically the most modern version of the Beryl that you see in front of you. I'll also link a picture of what my Beryl looked like at first, and one of my buddy's Beryls too, that he has. His is, I guess he has a folding stock on his, and he helped me put a folding stock on mine. His is like, I guess, the version 2 or version 1. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, so I'll link those pictures above. But basically, this version with the rails, the quad rail here, the dust cover rail, this telescoping stock, this updated grip right here, this little stubby foregrip too. This is the most updated version of the Beryl, which in my opinion is the only real true NATO 5.56 AK, because I mean, it's an AK. I mean, you can see that right there. People a lot smarter than me have debated this. Michiko on YouTube, go check him out. He's got a lot of videos about this, but he has said that this is kind of like the bleeding edge of being an AK. Like, it's still an AK, but it's kind of right there on the line. It's skating the line. The Galil, I would argue, is not an AK. I would argue it's a variant of an AK, because basically the Israelis, they copied the Finnish Valmet in 7.62, the Finnish Valmet was, and basically they took the Finnish Valmet and made the Galil. So the Finnish Valmet was already a copy of the AK, so it was like a copy of a copy of an AK, and that's what the Galil is, but we'll get into that in a different video about my Galils that I own. But yes, this is the Polish Beryl in 5.56. So basically we'll start out, we'll go from butt to tip. Starting here, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 position folding stock for use with body armor. We've got this little handle here. I don't really like it as much. I'm thinking about swapping out for a Magpul one, but I have it on there for the clone correctness. I know this is not clone correct. I'll go over what's not clone correct with it in a little bit. Then you've got this dog leg up here, this dog leg rail. It holds zero very well. It's a very good design. The only issue is you can't get into the dust cover to clean it if you need to, but I mean, it's an AK. Who needs to clean it anyways? And then after that, we've got our selector here. In my jack video, you guys may have seen me talk about the finger selector on my 5.56 jack. They've got one similar, because I mean, they were both made in Poland. WBP is a commercial Polish company. This is made by FB Radom, which is a military Polish arms manufacturer. But then going forward, we've got our 18-inch cold hammer forged 5.56 chrome line barrel, and it is a 1 in 9 twist. I'd have to go back and look. I may be wrong about that. But essentially, from my understanding, the French at the time, I guess in the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 90s, whenever they had this weapon coming out, the French were supplying them with a lot of surplus 55 grain ammunition, so 5.56 ball ammunition. So they wanted a rifle that was optimized to that. So that's why they did a little bit longer barrel with that 1 in 9 twist. So then after that, we've got, so we have that quad rail here. It's got 4 quad rails on it. Obviously, it's not super great. I was gonna say, let's see if you can see my hand around there. It's not like a good, it's hard to get your whole hand around there. I mean, it's really more meant to do that. This came out before the C-grip was a popular thing for shooters to do. But I mean, I do the C-grip. That just is what it is. Also going back a little bit, we've got our iron sight here, and a really cool thing about this weapon that I like is that you can shoot a little bit more heads up with the red dot, or you can go a little bit down and you can see your iron sights underneath the red dot. I think that's a great feature. I love being able to use iron sights in a pinch if your red dot breaks or optic breaks, whatever you're running on this, or gets if your battery dies, whatever it may be, whatever reason you can't use your optic. I think that's a great thing to have. And then we've got our flash hider on here. This is actually, they put it on with, I think, orange Loctite or red Loctite, but it's a, I have a, sorry, 1/2 by 28, whatever the standard AR-15 thread pitch is on here. So I actually reached out to customer service because I was trying to get this off, and I did kind of mar the finish on it. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, right there. I took some pliers to it because I was trying to take it off to throw one of my cans on here, and yeah, customer service told me I could heat it up with like a blowtorch or hot water or something, or they just told me to shoot a bunch of rounds through it and that it eventually should come loose. So that's what I'm doing. I haven't obviously shot enough rounds yet, or I haven't really tried or cared enough. But that's basically, I guess a more clone correct version would be just to have this pressed on with no threads, but I don't really care that much about it being clone correct. I would rather it be more functional, and it still looks the same. It's basically the same thing. I mean, yeah, nobody can tell from just looking at it. You know, you'd have to be able to get in there. But speaking of clone correct, I will go through what's not clone correct about this, because it's probably one of my more clone correct guns. So everything is clone correct about this weapon except for some obvious things. This cheap primary arms Chinese red dot on top. The clone correct thing to do would be to have an EOTech. I forgot which version of the EOTech. It's the long old school version. I'll see if I can put a picture of that above. I've looked at them. I've been seeing sales on them. They're still like $379. And that just doesn't sit right with me, I guess, because them being so expensive, that thing is like 20, 30 years old plus at this point. And they still want almost $400 for it. It's just kind of crazy. There's no night vision capability. It's not even like an XPS2 or anything like that. I mean, I think you could buy them on eBay cheaper, but I don't know. I don't really care that much to look into it. The other non-clone correct item is this sling. It's just a cheap primary arms sling on there. You can tell I like primary arms, obviously. Yeah, I'm not paying whatever it is, $100 for some Polish sling or whatever that, you know, they have a weird pattern of how they put it on the back up here. There's like a weird crisscross X pattern that they do. So that's that. And then the other thing is this cheap Chinese laser on here. I just have it on there just for funsies. Yeah, it's just a fun thing to do, to have on there. It's also white, just playing around with it. I mean, I just think it looks cool personally to somebody that doesn't really know what they're looking at. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. This is my Beryl. So I'm going to show a video. This is the only AK I've ever used in a competition. I used this in a competition 6 months ago, or it was back in June. Let's see, yeah, about 5 months ago. So yeah, I'll show that video.
High. High, 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 hit, hit. bottom, top, top, bottom, top. Unload choke there. Nice.
Here. So that was me using the Beryl competition. That was just one stage. I kind of screwed up that stage. What I did wrong, the RSO told me after, because he said that he's been to AK Master, so he has a little bit more experience in shooting AKs. You can see in it, I was hitting high. He said that's because I was pressing down the barrel on the barrier. Sorry, I couldn't think. The barrier that I was shooting through, I was pressing the barrel down, causing all my hits to hit a little bit high. So you can see I corrected myself at one point in that video, and then at the end, I'm shooting my pistol. I obviously got a little bit ahead of myself while I'm actually shooting this Glock 19 that I just talked about. Shot that in that competition, and you can see in the video that I kind of got in my head during the beginning of that video, but or during the beginning of me shooting that Glock 19 on the pistol portion with the spinner. But then at the very end, when I just said, okay, James, you need to chill out, it's time to lock in, I locked in. I was able to spin that spinner no problem. If I would have just locked in from the beginning, I would have had a much better time and a much better score on that stage, but it is what it is. But yeah, just going from, also this has a 90-degree gas block on here. I know that's a big deal to AK aficionados, that 90-degree gas block. I do not have one on my WVP jack. This also has more similar like lightning internals. I don't know if you can tell from the bolt carrier. My buddy would be able to tell you all about it, but it's got a lightning cut on that bolt carrier. He told me that this has more modern, like AK-74 style internals in this. And my WVP jack is basically has the older version of the AKM. It's basically, the WVP jack is basically a 5.56 AKM. And this is more akin to closer to a 74. Well, due to the fact that it was reworked from the Polish Tantal, which is it's not a 74 copy, but it's the Polish version of the 5.45 gun that Russia wanted everybody to have at the time. Another thing that is not clung correct about this with the military one is that there's no selector switch right here for me to decide, you know, if I want safe or semi or full auto. I'm not going to put that on. It's a lot of money. I mean, unless I was going to like convert this thing into a real machine gun or something, which I'm not. Yeah, there's no point in putting that on. It's just a semi-automatic standard rifle. But I mean, in my opinion, this is one of the best AKs that you can get out there. But unfortunately now they are out of stock on Arms of America. FB Radom does not have a date when they're going to produce more. So this could be it. One of the only ones in the country. I don't know how many are floating around out there. There's not a ton though. So I mean, that was a big reason why I went ahead and bought this thing. I bought it in basically the beginning of 2025 because I did not think that they would be in stock that long. But honestly, they stayed in stock a really long time. I was actually shocked that they stayed in stock so long. And I bought it slick, and I had to wait for all the rails and everything to come back in stock. All the rail, the butt stock, the grip, everything. I had to wait for that to come back in stock, and once it did, I put it on this weapon. But I mean, it's been a great little weapon. No failures, obviously. I think I've cleaned it once, but I really don't plan on cleaning it anytime soon. But it is a good little weapon. It's not really little, but it's an 18-inch 5.56 rifle. It served me well so far. Only AK I've used in competition. It does turn some heads, but I guess where I am, a lot of people don't really give a crap about AKs, or they don't know, or they don't care, whatever it may be. But yeah, another thing about it that may turn some people off is all of the furniture is proprietary, like this rail set, the dogleg rail, the stock, This is not like a standard AR-15 stock. I don't know if you guys can tell by that, but it's got just a little, it's not your standard AR-15 tube. Actually, you know, I can show you right here, standard AR-15 buffer tube. There's your standard AR-15 buffer tube. This is obviously not that. So yeah, so it's not any furniture that you decide to get. It has to be Beryl specific furniture. But I mean, I think it's a great gun. I think it's sexy. I think it's one of the best looking tactical AKs out there, in my opinion. Yeah, if you've got a different opinion, please let me know below. But that's basically my story with this. I bought it, you know, beginning of this year, just thinking that they would go out of stock a lot quicker than they did, and I slowly got the furniture. And basically, I bought it because, you know, the more I talked to my AK friend, I had a WBP jack, or basically in my other video, you know, I said I had a Wazzer 10 first, then I had a ATI 5.56 Galil. The ATI is a milled Galil, and it kicks a lot. It kicks really hard. It shoots brass like into the atmosphere, into the stratosphere actually. Like crazy. I really need to get a K&S piston in it to tune it down some. I just haven't gotten around to it because I don't shoot my ATI Galil that much. So yeah, and so I was looking for something different. I got the WBP jack, and that was great, but I just loved it so much. I loved the Polish craftsmanship. I wanted the real Polish, you know, military 5.56 AK. I want to say I own the real only standard, or the only real NATO 5.56 AK that's seen combat. This has been deployed in Afghanistan. You can look up pictures of Polish dudes in Afghanistan using this. I mean, this thing has seen, not this rifle specifically, but this platform has seen combat as a 5.56 NATO AK deploying with NATO troops. I think that's cool. I mean, I think it's a cool piece of history personally. You guys may or may not. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts down below if you have anything else to say. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and God bless.